we're going to be making an apple crumble. So first off, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to weigh out all of your ingredients and also get the equipment that you need. So the equipment that you're going to be needing are 2 bowls, medium or large size bowls, and a baking dish. And then also, when you're weighing out your ingredients, a little bit of a tip, make sure you do the apples last, just because they tend to brown once you've peeled and chopped them. So do them last. You don't have to peel them if you don't want to, or if you're not comfortable doing that. And don't be afraid to ask someone for some help, because some of the slices, obviously you'll need a sharp knife, so you need to be careful whilst doing that. And also, with the butter, make sure you cut it into small cubes, but make sure it's cold. So once you've done it, you can pop it back in the fridge until you need it. So yeah, so then first we'll get started. What you'll need to do is you'll need to preheat your oven, and then we'll get into making the crumble. Okay, so for the first step, we're going to be creating the base of the crumble. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take your apples. As you can see, mine have kind of gone like brown, but that's okay, that's completely normal, and it's fine because we're going to be cooking them anyway, so it doesn't matter. You're also going to need your few tablespoons of caster sugar, a medium mixing bowl, and the baking tin. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the apples in a mixing bowl and your caster sugar, and you are going to completely mix this all together. You can use your hands, you can use a spoon or something like that. I'm just going to use my hands because it's just quicker. Just make sure that every single slice is coated with some form of sugar. Now, if you want, you can also add in other fruit. You can add berries. It goes quite nicely with raspberries or strawberries or blackberries, or you can add in rhubarb. Or you can swap it up a bit. It doesn't just have to be apple, but obviously apple is a classic. You can shake the bowl if you want. Just make sure they've all got a little bit of a coating. So now that's all got a coating, I'm going to take my tin. Mine's round, you can have square ones, it doesn't really matter. And then you need to basically line the base with the apples. So what I like to do is I like to overlap them. And there we go, that's my base done. Now we're going to put that to one side and we're going to make the crumble. Okay, so for the next step, we're going to be creating the actual crumble. So what you're going to need is your 110 grams of caster sugar, your rolled oats, your flour, and your sliced up cold butter. I keep this in the fridge just until I'm about to use it. And then you'll need a medium mixing bowl and a little bit of salt. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the flour, the caster sugar, and a little bit of salt, just a pinch of salt. I usually just pour a little bit out onto my hand, just the tiniest bit, and add it in. And then you're going to add in the cold sliced butter. I like to just make sure it's all individually in there. I'm currently wearing a glove just because I've cut my hand, so I'm just trying to be as safe as possible. Obviously the other hand doesn't have a glove, so obviously you don't have to use gloves. Okay, so now that all of these ingredients are in there, we're now going to use a technique called rubbing. So we did this in the Miller's Cookies recipe, where you grab all of the butter and the flour and the sugar and you're going to rub it in between your fingers. So yeah, let's get going. Because it's cold butter, you really need to press hard down and rub between your fingers. Just push that butter in between. And you want to make sure that it looks like breadcrumbs at the end of this, so you don't want any large lumps or anything. So once we now have a breadcrumbly mixture and it's all small little breadcrumbs, obviously there are a few little lumps, but it's not the end of the world, is it? We're going to add in our oats. At this point you can also add in some like spices like cinnamon, just to add a little bit of extra flavour if you like that sort of stuff. But just mix it all in together. So we should have that lovely crumble mixture with all the oats in it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our base that we prepared earlier and we're just going to sprinkle this all over the top of it. Make sure you get an even coat. You can just pour some and spread it out with your hands, or you can use a fork. Make sure everything's coated and you can't see any of the apples. And there we go. So that is what it should look like. I am just going to add a little bit something extra. I'm going to drizzle over some demerara sugar. You can use some brown sugar if you have any. And it just adds like a nice little golden crunch to it. Right, so now I'm going to pop this in the oven. It goes in for about 35 to 40 minutes and then it should go a nice golden brown on the top and then you're all done. So now we've taken it out of the oven and it's all lovely and crispy golden brown on the top and it'll be ready to serve. You can serve it with cream, ice cream, custard, whatever takes your fancy. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you had good fun doing it and learning new techniques, and I'll see you